boys, it has finally happened. 15 years since the original games come out, and around 7 years of people asking for it since the Gen 3 remakes come out. And we finally have remakes for Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl. Now, I personally actually never played through the entirety of any of the Gen 4 games. I barely got into Pearl in one playthrough, and I got like 5 badges into Heart Gold at one point in time, which Heart Gold is my favorite Pokemon game of all time, even though I still haven't beaten it. I do have that Nuzlocke series that went for 2 episodes 4 months ago or whatever and hasn't been continued, but it will continue eventually, hopefully within the next week or two. And speaking of continuing, I know I haven't uploaded a lot recently, and I would just like to say, today we will have 2 videos. I'll have this one come out at its regular time, and then I'll have another video coming out at either 5 or 6 p.m. as well, and you'll see what that's about, and let's just say it's related to this video in one way or another, but I'm trying to get the videos on Saturdays and Sundays again. It's been difficult, but I'm gonna try. Anyway, I have personally also really wanted these remakes because, first of all, I've never played through the games and I kind of want to experience them. Secondly, I just feel like it needs to happen already. It's been so long. Now, a lot of people, I'm just going to get this out of the way early on, a lot of people are complaining about it because of the art style of the overworld, and honestly, I couldn't care less. Do I prefer the style, not the specific look because it didn't look that good, but like the style of Sword and Shield? Probably. A better example would say, do I prefer the overworld being like that of in like Sun and Moon or X and Y and stuff like that? And the answer is yes. The new art style that they did, them trying to make 3D versions of like the sprites that they did in Gen 5 and further behind that, and it's a weird move. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't really care because in battles they look good, and that's all I really care about, to be honest. As long as the Pokemon themselves look good and the battles look good, fine by me. Now, problem is there are a few things that could go wrong. In the sense that the games aren't looking as much like remakes as the remakes have looked so far, as they are like remasters. They're looking like, from the trailers, they're just gonna be 3D versions of Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl, which would not be amazing. Let me elaborate. So, if they do what I'm saying, which is just entirely redoing the games exactly, but just with the 3D and the high definition, that would be kind of poopy, because then we were waiting 7 years for remakes, not for the same game but ported. We don't want to port, we want to remake, versus like Oraz, where they had slight story changes and Mega Evolution. Like, honestly, best comes to best, they bring Mega Evolution back, they give like the starters Mega Evolutions or something like that. But all I want is a story change. I don't want the stories to be identical, because that would kind of like ruin the point of having the Gen 4 remakes in the first place. On the other hand, 2 really good things are coming out of this. One of them being that Gamefreak is not developing these games. Now, why is that a good thing, you might ask? Trust me, it is. Have you played Pokemon Sword and or Pokemon Shield? If you have, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, don't. No, I'm joking. They're alright games. They're definitely the worst Pokemon games. Main series, that is. But like, they're alright. They're good for video games. They are not good for Pokemon games. Anyway, Game Freak has just been poopy. I'm gonna use that word a lot, probably, especially when describing Game Freak, but like, Game Freak's just not been great. They just have done a lot of lazy stuff. This is primarily, I would say that it was like a continuous thing, but it's really just in Generation 8. Like, it's really just in Generation 8. Like, people are saying it started in Gen 6 because the games got easier, but Gen 6 was really good. The story was really good. Gen 7 was also actually really good, in my opinion. And I think the saddest thing to mention about it is that this new random dude directed the DLCs, and each individual part of the Sword and Shield DLC in its entirety is better than the base game of Sword and Shield, which I think is kind of sad because this is just some new guy, just never heard of him, and he made a better Pokemon game. Now that's why I think it's good that Game Freak is not developing Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Also, Junichi Masuda himself is directing the games, and why is that a good thing, you ask? He's been working on all the Pokemon games, and that is because he directed Diamond and Pearl way back in, I think, 2006 when they came out. So I think this is definitely like the best setup that we could have right now. The original directors of the games and not Game Freak, I think, is just perfect. I think that is set up for a pretty good game. I'm hoping they're good. I'm hoping that it's not the same story, because honestly, there's a good chance that they're going to be good games, but they're just going to be the same exact story and the same exact games that were on the DS so many years ago, which would suck. But even if that is the case, it's going to be better than Sword and Shield. I can almost guarantee that. Another thing that I am personally worrying about is, first of all, National Dex. Will there be another National Dex cut, or will there be a National Dex cut that's smaller? I don't know. What I am fearing is that there will be, whereas they'll have Gens 1 through 4 in the game and nothing past that. Or like something like that, or just the Pokemon that were available in Diamond and Pearl, or just the Pokemon that were available in Platinum, and not have anything Gen 5 plus, which is like literally half of the Pokemon. But that would suck like a lot. Or even if they bring some of them back but not a lot of them, I think that would be not very amazing. Even if they're not in the game or in the Dex, just like if they're not transferable like they were, like how it is in Sword and Shield, that would suck. Like that would be really, really bad. Like that would be so bad. Sorry about the sniffling. I was just out in the cold for like 25 minutes, so please bear with me with that. But I should probably just blow my nose. Anyway, so games looking like they're shaping up to end up being really good games. At least that's what it looks like to me. And honestly, that's all I really have to say on it. Like, the only issues would be Dex cuts, or if they just entirely remake the games. They should just go to their full potential. Like, that's really what they need to do. And Game Freak has not been very good at that, like, at all, ever, in their Pokemon games. Like, if somebody's in a best comes to best scenario, they don't usually go through with it. They definitely did with Oraz. They could have made X and Y harder. That would have been better. They did pretty good with Sun and Moon. And Sword and Shield, they just went pretty lazy. They have a history of not going like full try-hard mode on their games, especially on the more recent side. Actually, only on the more recent side. But yeah, that's all there really is to be... Well, actually, that's not even what there is to be scared about, because that's another reason it's really good that Game Freak isn't developing this, because they're the ones that have been lazy. They're the ones that haven't been bringing the games to the full potential. So I don't remember what the name of this company that's developing it is called. Remind me in the comments, or I'll just look it up or something. But they... I mean, we don't know, but they don't have precedent set of being lazy like Game Freak has. So we don't know what they're here to do. So either they're going to make it like Game Freak would, which would suck, or better, which is what I'm expecting. So I have high expectations for these people because they're not Game Freak. I wouldn't have as high expectations for the game if it was Game Freak, unless they still had Masuda directing it, because that's definitely a massive plus. But other than that, that's all I really have to say about Pokemon Shining Pearl and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys are as hyped for the games as I am, because I am pretty excited. And I will see you guys in the next video coming in 2 to 3 hours from now. Deuces.